Looks expensive, right?
I'm glad that we brought it back.
Yeah. Making Galaktikon a live-action event is something that's been in my mind for a while, and mainly because of my brother, because of Jeff. Jeff has what I think is one of the top 10 cool jobs. I get to do a lot of cool stuff, but my brother makes cool monsters and cool helmets and suits and laser guns, and it's the coolest thing in the world. I was watching a lot of Blu-rays from Shout Factory, who had all these really cool, like, Roger Corman movies and these great 70s sci-fi movies that were influenced by Star Wars, but didn't have the financial, it couldn't hit the same mark, but also would do a really cool job making tactile, like outer space. And I thought about Dogma 95, which is the Lars von Trier's group of people who decided to make films with limitations. And I thought that's what I want to do here, and I started thinking from the very beginning of this project, this is not Dogma 95, this is Corman 82. Meaning that what's available in 82 is what we have available. There's a magic that happens when you're using tactile things that doesn't happen otherwise. So I was just in that mindset, like crazy, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to be able to do this project that way? To build a guy that just looks cool in a suit, to have cool lighting. I want to see light and haze and depth of field and cameras and stuff. That takes me forever to do in animation, but you know what's amazing is the sheer idea that I can stand behind a camera and look at a monitor and go, okay, I need more smoke. I need a light to move over here. I need to create depth of field through lighting. I need out of focus LEDs in the background. This is looking really good. I just need more haze over near her. I worked with Funny or Die on this project. This is not a video, it's kind of a short film, more like Thriller or Captain EO, the things that Michael Jackson did to make it more of an event. And I thought, why not just rip that whole idea off? There will have to be some shots, Sweeney, where we don't have a lens flare, FYI.
Well, this is a hero shot.
This one we have to have one.
Yeah.
Funny or Die was so generous with their in-house people, so Matt Sweeney is the DP. I was also talking to Brandon Dermer, who did the Galaktikon video, and he was telling me about these lenses, these Kawas lenses, which are anamorphic lenses, but can fit onto digital cameras. And thank God Brandon introduced us to his buddy, who got us these lenses on the cheap. You can get these crazy cool imperfections. All of a sudden, it starts looking cinematic. So my brother and I went into my yard one afternoon, and I filled up aquariums with salt water and fresh water and found this concoction of inks and viscous fluids to make this stuff. We sat there and the thing started happening. It's just like shooting ink into water. We're like, well, how do you like that? We discovered something that's 40-something years old, or maybe older. You can see it working.
Brendon's brother made the helmets. He's a practical effects expert. Everything you see that's practical, he built. I guess he wanted a really tall guy to play kind of a thug. I happen to be tall, so I think it was just a process of elimination. All right, we have one of them because Steve's tall. He'll do it.
It's the time-honored tradition of the henchman. There's two henchmen. If you have a hot alien princess, you need two evil robot henchmen.
You know, I'm good friends with Steve Agee, and we do a lot of creative stuff together. In fact, Steve Agee is a great comedian and a great actor, but he took the photos of the helmet on the back of the record. The helmet on the back was the beginning of the whole thing. I thought, this is the first step. I want this tactile. I want to see this stuff. Now you can see Triton operating and flying we used a spaceship. We built a spaceship. I was looking at Steve Agee's, I follow him on Instagram, and he had a picture of him hanging out with David Dastmalchian. And I recognized him from The Dark Knight, and I called Steve and I go, do you know him? Is he a nice guy? He's like, yeah. And also, just the nature of the helmet, the guy has to have wide set eyes. Can you open your eyes really wide for a moment? That's good. That's what we want. That's the kind of shot. So I'll be asking for that, and that'll be that.
Great.
Okay.
That's that.
So that's that. And he's tall and he's lanky, and that suit will look cool on him. So luckily, he was available, and he was really cool. And he was up for the challenge of being in a hot, sweaty, pleather suit.
What about this? Did you see this? Did you see that one?
Yellow, yeah, I think yellow would be good.
He got to swagger in this.
In fact, Dave and I, just like a week or two ago, were like, we get to play spacemen. We get to play spacemen. Yeah, like this looks like the set of, Alien or Aliens, and a lot of red lights and blues and rear projections. So he's definitely going for a very specific style. Yeah, blue screen. No one does that anymore.
I was in love many times throughout the thousands of years that I have been traveling the galaxy, but I had an encounter with one in particular individual, and she has harbored some resentments for a long time, and she and I's paths have crossed in the galactosphere, and she is not thrilled to see me, which is unfortunate because I'd be excited if I had gotten to see me after such a long time, and considering the night that we spent together was so magical, but she's not happy about it, so she has a couple of things to say about it.
So I'm friends with Jill Janus from the world of heavy metal, and she's an insanely talented vocalist, and she is so great on stage. I said, well, I'd like to get you in some kind of a costume that's like some kind of, again, Barbarella meets Ming the Merciless meets like some kind of Disney villain. She introduced me to her costume person, this girl, Jenny Luna, who delivered above and beyond.
Well, I have a girl named Jenny Luna. She's my sorceress, very talented makeup artist, Brenna. So she did all of this.
Captain EO. Little Angelica Houston from Captain EO.
I'm in a band called Huntress. I'm friends with Brendon. He said, do you want to be in my video for Galaktikon and be a queen alien? I said, yeah. Nothing new for me. I've been a weird queen alien. He's super cool, super mellow. His vision is very dead on. I mean, I've never seen a director so organized before.
It's like a reverse. It doesn't need to be a reverse.
Oh, yeah,
you can
yeah,
catch that here, too. I boarded the whole thing. This is what the boards look like. There's our character, Triton. This is our shot that we just did.
Yeah, because we'll tease with her too.
This is, I gave her like a very masculine butt.
I think we just swapped the lens.
But that's our Mrs. Robinson shot.
This is my jam. Anything over the top, I'm an alien, bitch. I'm no fucking actress. I'm just doing it.
Line that up a little tighter too with David.
Oh wait, because I'm gonna end here.
Oh, then great. That's gonna be a good shot. So you guys have already guard 1 and 2. You guys have already kind of found your place, or you're finding your place.
Whips or whips, dolly, how do you want to do it?
So I want to do dolly alone, and I want to do it a B with whips. So the first one, Jill, no whips. You're just standing there. These are going to be composited laser whips. I got that idea from the movie Message from Space, which is like a 1970s co-production, like a Japanese-Italian co-production film. And story-wise, not a great movie, but it's got so many cool practical effects. So there are a couple places where we bent the rules. In 82, for the whips, what they would have done was they would have done exactly what I did, which is animate on top of the actual whips. So almost like in Star Wars, there's a person going through every single frame painstakingly. Our poor compositor, Brian Weeder, he went through and animated every single laser whip. Now, I didn't shoot on film, and so I didn't cut on film. I had to do a modern take on what was available back in 82 if I'm doing Corman 82. It was just digital instead of film, but the exact same techniques were employed. I knew I wanted some underwater creature because it references something else in the record, and I also thought it'd be really cool for this guy to dip into his subconscious and have some encounter with some crazy beast. So I told my brother, I said, because I had him working like crazy, because I said, you have to do the guns, you have to do the suit, you have to do these other helmets for these other guys, and you have to do all these different things. He's like, oh my God, you're killing me. And I go, I know, but it's going to be really cool. And luckily, he's my brother, because there's no way I could afford any of this. And that's why he's a producer of this thing, too. And so at some point I said, oh, by the way, there's a sea creature. And he goes, okay. But I said, I'm seeing some kind of like a spider eyes, with like multiple eyes, more than 2. She has a whale body. In fact, I just knew it was a she. And I wanted it to be like a samurai fighting fish with all those flowing weird tendrils and stuff. Like, remember my brother and I were talking. He knew this because he knows all about how all this stuff worked out. But in Poltergeist, There's this big lanky beast. It's all weird and has a big head and a skull. And my brother told me that was shot underwater. And I thought, we should shoot the whale underwater. And he's like, we should shoot the whale underwater. So I was like, well, I hope it holds together. And he's like, we'll do it dry, then we'll shoot it wet. And so that's what we did. My brother just moved this thing up and down. And he kind of like just did like a back and forth stirring motion. And it would start kind of, its fins were floppy enough that it took on water. And the water would move it. And it became alive. Puppeting is a big part of what we had to do. My brother also puppeted T1, T5, which is our robot friend. And again, the robot was looking cool. I knew it was going to work. And once we put a cluster of LEDs in his eye hole, all of a sudden we're like, oh, this is a robot. This is a robot from like the black hole. He could exist in that universe. What a perfect time for you to come over. Hello. I got it. Hi. Can we take a look around, Courtney?
Yeah.
Come here. So the whole idea of this whole video, I think the whole Galaktikon project, I'm not even sure at this point, but I think it's just so I can do this video. I'm not joking. I think this is all I really want to do is make outer space homage films or short films or whatever it is, or make full-length feature films. But this whole idea is to bring the comic book page to life. So I just wanted to do stuff that I couldn't take my eyes off of. And every single little piece of art in this project I can't take my eyes off of. And I think there are other people like me out there that kind of maybe grew up in the same place or kind of maybe have a little bit of CGI fatigue. And I wanted to just do something that is a love letter to all the people that really worked hard and paved the road of sci-fi fantasy movies and just cool stuff that got me excited as a kid, that got me to where I am, wanting to tell stories and to be entertaining.
Oh, let's go.
Is that it?
I'm more excited about seeing this up on his feet than anything else that I've kind of made before. I think some things it had to exist only in cartoon form. I would really like to see this live action.